Everyone, welcome back to another stream. Hope you've all had a good weekend. And immediately to playables in straight away with a membership. Thanks for that, dude. Oh wow, the notification actually worked for once. Just need to very quickly just check my audio settings and then we'll be ready to go. Yeah, I think we're good. Instant rare drop from deployable. Getting rares before you even get in the game. Cheers for that, dude, seriously. It's really kind of you. Been a bit distant work. Miss you guys. No worries, I know how it is at work sometimes. Hi, Chentan. And hi, Remote as well. Hilariously, and the most recent subscriber. Yeah, I think it's just... I think if you resub, it counts you as like a new subscriber, possibly. Or actually, no, it could be because of that problem you have with YouTube, actually, come to think of it. It probably is because of that, actually, yeah. Because if your channel's getting merged, so it's probably treating you as like a new subscriber. Hi, Mars. And as usual, we need to reload the lobby. Deployable has all the problems with PSO crashing. I get this every time. Oh well, the rare Raymar appearance from Draken. Hopefully the red boxes are plentiful this stream. I mean, I think it's rare enemy week, I think, so if we can get a rare enemy to show up, maybe. That would be very nice. Hi, Zil. And hi, Drac, obviously. Yeah, so our plan for today, just a quick one, is we're going to do PSO for the first half, and then we're going to bring PSU back, because after I played it with deployable, I kind of felt like I wanted to play it a bit more. So, yeah, we're going to do some PSU today for a change. Hi, Vector. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Just a few things while people file in. So a video went live a couple of hours ago, which is the next PSO law video, which covers all the mines. I realised while I was recording it that actually the game doesn't really tell you much about mines as you just go through it. It kind of depends when you're doing the government quests. So I will probably look at the government quests at some point as well, and maybe do some videos on those in the future. But yeah, for the time being though, at least we'll look, so I've gone with what we've done with the mines run. Next one should be a look at... I haven't decided if I want to do ruins next or if I want to do some things like looking at some of the organisations like Black Paper. Covered every single mine in the game and used 10,000 trap visions. You now have law about every type of mine in PSO. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you've already now, Drac, yeah, so it should change, I think, every month. So, you know, if you want a flashy section ID badge, by all means, join as a member, and that is probably the only plug I'll do for the whole stream. Also, if you do play on PSO BB on Ephinea, feel free to join our team. We do have a couple of slots left. I am keeping one slot reserved for someone who's asked, but apart from that, there is a couple of slots left. DPD Black Market video. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I should do a guide about Black Pepper's deal at some point because it is kind of important. So that's another thing I could do. Hi, Victor. So yeah, we've got that. So that video went live earlier, and then on late on Monday there'll be the next PSP2 episode for members, and then non-members will get access to it on Wednesday. So that's sort of how things are going to go for the next few weeks, probably, honestly. It'll be like a lore video, then a PSP2 video. However, I am going to try and slip in a PS0 video at some point, because as you probably noticed, we hit over 1,000 subs. So I think we were just short of it before the last stream, but we just hit 1,000 subs a little bit after it. So I am going to do a video on PS0. So I just need to figure out what I want to do with that. I think I'm just going to do like a first impressions video, pretty much, because I've never actually played it before. So we'll try that, and then if I enjoy the game, we'll go on and maybe do a full playthrough at some point. Kilniath quite keen on 0, I'm guessing. So we'll do that. I may also try and slip in the odd extra video here and there. Maybe 1 a month or so, just like an extra video on the channel. Whether that'll be a special video or looking at a different game. Just to vary things up a little bit. You have to make the last 10 accounts to get him to 1,000. If you did that, that's up to you. But I know you're just joking, but... yeah, we got there in the end. I swear the last 10 subs in particular were absolutely agonizing. It was so slow getting the last 10. So yeah, I think for this week on PSO, it's Rare Monster Week, and basically we can hunt rare monsters. I'm trying what the RBR is now. I think it's Lost Ice Spinner. One the Penumbral Surge quest, which I think is the spaceship one, and then there's a questing. I think it's a questing Crater for episode 4. We could do episode 1 RBR, so Lost Ice Spinner. I think that has about 50 lilies in it. It's not the best quest for lilies, but it's an option. I was on 999 for ages. Oh, tell me about it. I was checking it all the time. Yeah, that's where I'd like to believe, Vector, that someone was just wanting to be number 1000 and was just waiting for the opportunity. Viridia Caves is alright. I used to do it a lot when I hunted Yasha on the Sega servers. So yeah, so we can either do Viridia Caves or Purple Caves. So we do have a few options. So proud of you, well deserved. Oh, cheers, dude. Yeah, again, to get to 1,000 on basically PSO content is kind of insane, really, considering how old the game is. So yeah, we're going to do some Viridia Caves, so if anyone else wants to join in, we'll have a couple of slots free. Missed much? Not particularly. We've more or less just started, to be honest. Yeah, so we just got started, Pork, so we're just going to do some Viridia Lost Ice Spinner, I think. Wait, if there's yellow, we should do that. Is Yellow Caves good? I've honestly never looked at what Yellow Bows gets in caves. We need to try and keep our tally going of Uber Rare Drops as well, because we seem to be getting a bit of a pattern for it now. So we got Pinkle card last stream. So we need another one this stream. No pressure. Yellow Bows, Heaven Punisher, Guard Wave, Sanga, Red Sword, Heart of Tension Blaster. That's not bad. I think the Red Sword drop is a bit of a troll, I think, because I believe it's from a Milkweek. And then Milkweeks have terrible drop all rates, but there is a lot of Milkweeks in this quest. So we could go for it. Yeah, if you want to make, like, that's fine, yeah. You can do Yellow Bows Lost Ice Spinner if you want. Since it's on RBR anyway as well. Just a quick note, I did mention this on my Discord, but if anyone's on Ephinea and you're doing the RBR quests, just be aware that for Lost Ice Spinner, it's designed for 2 players, but you can kind of do it with 1 player. There's basically a room where you get warped into it and there's no way out. The door locks when you go in and you're locked in with loads of crusher traps, but you need to press a switch in there. So what you need to do if you're soloing it is just go into the room, hit the switch, and then use a telepipe to get out. Don't use Ryuka as well, because you'll probably get stuck trying to cast Ryuka before the things crush you. So you can kind of cheese it. Hi, Mario. Sounds exhilarating. Yeah, it's not designed for solo. Being on holidays tempted you on a Steam Deck for PSO. I mean, it's probably the best reason to get a Steam Deck, isn't it? Yeah, nice to see you, Mario. Yellow Boar's OPID. Here's me who deleted my yellow boars to make an Oran. When you do that quest with Vector, you're running around in circles trying to avoid the crushers as we both went in and got confused. Yeah, I think what you're meant to do is get one person to go in and then I think someone else gets the switch to let them out. Obviously solo you can't do that. On the Sega servers they actually made it so you couldn't do it because as soon as you stepped off the switch it would depress again. So you could only run it with 2 or more people on the official servers, but on Ephinea they've made it so the switch will stick down. I like how we're all doing shifter, but there's a force. I'm so used to doing shifter D-band on the party. Direct chat's messed up your controls. Is Oran the least best ID? It does have some really decent drops, honestly. It's not one of the more common IDs, definitely, but it is really good for some things. So it probably has, in my opinion, probably one of the best Psycho 1 drops. Although, best in inverted commas because there is no good Psycho 1 drop. Who forces out of the job, the redundancies continue. Oh, we're starting off hot. Zale's got a branch of Paku Paku. Yeah, so this quest, if you are hunting anything from these guys, from these Milkweeks, this is the quest. The 1000 has gone to his head. Just look at the rares. We've had a branch of Paku Paku and a photon drop. I have no idea why YouTube held that message for review, Kilniaf, but... Like I said, don't fire me. I literally reinstated you because YouTube decided to get rid of you. Alright, so who's going to be the sacrificial lamb then? Yeah, so this is the room here, so you can see it's just full of crushers and you can't actually get out of it. So we need to find a switch now. Which I'm trying to remember where the switch is. It's been so long since I've done this quest. This is also brutal. It decides to put confused traps in these crushers, which is the most cruel thing that PSO could probably do. I think whoever made this quest were just having a bad day and just decided to take it out on the players, honestly. YouTube back on form didn't like the Angie face. Yeah, I'm assuming it just doesn't like sort of anything like ASCII art or anything like smiley faces for some reason. It's not like it's spam protection or anything because it's literally one message. Yeah, I pinned it as a message, but to anyone who didn't see, because I am monetized now on YouTube, if you don't have an ad blocker, you might get ads on the stream. If the amount of ads becomes really, really excessive and obnoxious, just let me know. Gotta say, the game feels a little bit stuttery today for some reason. It was like this earlier on as well. Smiley faces are offensive in some corners of the internet, apparently. If anyone gets an ad, we all need to shout ad in chat and the players need to stand still for 30 seconds. Yeah, we just need to wait for everyone's ad to end. That also applies to the videos as well, by the way, so just let me know, particularly on the Discord is probably the easiest way to do it. So feel free to let me know on there if there is any issues with things getting excessively monetized. Just because, obviously I want some ads on stream, because it's revenue, obviously, but I don't want it to be like an ad every 2 minutes. Did you miss something? Or why does the title of the stream say Return of PSU? It's called that just because we haven't played PSU for a good few weeks. So there isn't a relaunch, but there is a private server though. So there is, you might not be aware, but there is a private server for PSU called Clementine, which is what we'll be playing on later. But yeah, the stream's called Return of PSU just because we haven't played PSU for quite a few weeks. Can you imagine a PSO stream, chat integration, ad spawns a freeze trap? From what I've seen, basically anything that has Twitch chat or like, you know, stream chat integration always ends horribly. It's quite a popular one going around on YouTube at the minute where, I can't remember the name of the guy now, but he basically did a Skyrim run where he managed to make a mod where all of the NPCs could be voiced by his Twitch chat. That went about as well as you would expect. Yeah, Victor, so yeah, if you search for PSU Clementine, there is, like I say, a private server for it. That sounds risky. It was extremely not safe for work. It was hilarious seeing what the chat could come up with, but yeah, some of it was just, you just couldn't broadcast it. Yeah, I know PSU's been having some issues, hasn't it, with like hosting and so on for Clementine lately. Might try it later, but yeah, you like better PSO. I think most people prefer PSO, but yeah, I do still like PSU a lot. Just as I haven't played it for a few weeks, it's about time to try it again. If you do that, you're going to need a very vigilant moderator. I mean, thankfully, I have a very vigilant moderator, I would like to think. But, yeah, I don't think I would like to try anything sort of controlled by chat. Like, especially if you're on, like, a sort of a large streamer scale. You know, if you're on a chat that's got hundreds or thousands of viewers, asking them to control anything is probably a terrible idea. So I think with this, you have to go through all of them anyway. Channel Miniatruna did a Fallout 4 run on stream, where his chat spawned items, monsters, and launched his character into the sky. I know that someone did a mod for Lethal Company that was kind of like that as well, where the Twitch chat could control what happened in the game. And again, that went about as well as you would expect. Running this has given me horrible flashbacks to running this on the Sega servers because I remember how awful it was. I basically ran this over and over and over again to hunt Yasha on the Sega servers. I like PSU a lot, still need to get back to PSO. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know how much you know about the sort of situation with PSO private servers, but there is a few private servers for PSO as well. This one is Ephinea. And if you want an experience that's more similar to the old servers, then this is probably the most similar. Yeah, that's the mod I mentioned, Mario. So basically, yeah, the chat were voicing the NPCs in real time. It was awful. Quite a nasty spawn, that one, because it basically drops you in the middle of a ring of lilies, which in Ultimate is a little scary. Yeah, so basically the way this works is it just continually brings you back to this room and you just have to keep going through the same warps. The problem is each time you come back, it brings you back from a different direction. So you have to remember which ones you haven't been in. Pretty sure it's this one. Yeah. Which would be the best of the other kind of private servers? What do they offer differently from Ephinea? So the other ones, I haven't really played a lot of the other ones. From what I know about them, which isn't a great deal admittedly, the other ones kind of try to experiment a bit more with the game. So they might change the stats on the weapons or change the stats on the enemies. They might do completely custom items, things like that. So if you want an experience that's a lot more experimental, then those servers might be more what you're looking for. I can't speak for what they like to play though, because I haven't really spent any time on them. For me personally, if I was recommending a server for someone to come back and play PSO, if they wanted to just go back and play it again, I would probably recommend this server, just because it is the most similar. But yeah, definitely, if you wanted something that's a lot more, you know, a lot more experimental and doesn't stick to the rules of PSO, then you could always check out servers like Ultima. I know there used to be one called Destiny, which was absolutely crazy modified. I don't know if that's still going or not. Cursed idea, Nano Dragons shoot Megid. Oh yeah, this room's fun. This is actually one of the ways we need to go. But this room is really fun. It's a dark room and it's full of lilies. So you can't see what's coming for you. And then a dragon shoot into the telepipes. What, like the, was it the Velociprays in Frontier? Did you say they do that? Shoot Farcasters. Playing Ephinea right now, just came back after playing it on GameCube. Oh, nice one. Yeah, GameCube is where I started as well. You can also as well, Blue Burst obviously isn't the only option, so there is ways of still playing your GameCube online as well. So if you want to do that, it's probably best searching for, I believe it's ragol.org, I think, which is a server that's set up for GameCube versions of PSO as well. May have Dreamcast as well, I honestly can't remember. Recently stumbled upon the Phantasy Star MMOs. What are the main differences between PSO and PSU? Quite a lot, actually. So PSU is obviously a later game than PSO, so it experiments a bit more than PSO did. So for PSO, your basic combination for fighting, for example, is every weapon just has like a 3-button press combo. So with these guns, you do, and that's basically all you do. There are special attacks that have different effects, but for the most part, it is basically just that 3-hit combo. You still do have a 3-hit combo in PSU, but PSU was the first game to introduce what were called photon arts. And photon arts are like special skills that you can use. It also introduced sort of racial special abilities. It was also, I believe it was one of the first online Phantasy Star games to use different planets as well, whereas PSO is all confined to the same planet. I'm really remembering how much I hate this quest now. So yeah, they are very, very different games. The character customization is obviously quite a lot more in depth on PSU as well compared to PSO. PSO's is very rudimentary. What S-rank weapons do you recommend for a Huniwell Sky? How difficult is it to get them? So for a Huniwell, a couple of options. So you could go with an S-rank slicer. So that's what I did for my first playthrough. If you use something like a Hell Slicer, that's a really good way of taking care of some things in episode 2. So that's one option. You could also go with something like an arrest slicer to paralyze things, or a demon slicer, because all the specials on S ranks are unreduced. Another good option is to go with something like Demon's Mech Guns, because they're a really good way of bringing down a high HP enemy's health really quickly. So something like Gerta Blulu will just get trashed by it. So there's a few options. I'd probably go towards probably Slicer or Mech Guns though. The only issue with the Mech Guns is, because you can't have hit on a S-rank weapon, you may have some accuracy issues possibly, because obviously Hunuel accuracy is not great. But it's the same problem with the Slicer, so... Content is incredible example of it. Love your content. Oh, thanks, Victor. I'm always happy to see when people like the videos. And if it gets people into PSO or going back to it again, that's all I want. And how for the second part of the question as well, Paul, is how difficult they are to get. Episode 1 challenge mode is totally doable. You probably, if you're doing it for the first time, you probably need to use some maps just so you know where you're going and what the switch puzzles are. And you might, once you complete it, you might need to go back and redo a few of the stages just to speed your times up a bit. But it is totally doable. Episode 2 is quite a lot more difficult. You probably need like a very coordinated team. Honestly, for either challenge mode, you probably need a coordinated team. And I would honestly recommend using voice chat for it. But if you're just looking for your first clear of challenge mode, I'd probably go for episode 1. Oh, right, yeah, this is this quest where everything is a laser fence that gets blocked off. No worries, Akatsuki. So, have you ever played any Phantasy Star games, Akatsuki, or is it just something you've been looking into? How do you enable the little mini screen when you switch weapons, or the quick menu like this? So, what I do is, just for full disclosure, I play on a controller. I honestly can't remember what the keyboard shortcut is for it. But on a controller, it's basically your right bumper and the top button on your action palette. So for me, on like an Xbox style controller, it's right bumper and Y. And then you use right trigger or right bumper to go through it. So you can quick use your items, you can quick use your techniques, and you can quick use your weapons as well. PC should be controlling up. Yeah, I've honestly never played PSO on a keyboard really, so I've got no idea what it's like or what the controls are. Yeah, controlling up on keyboard apparently. It's really, really useful quick menu actually. It's just obviously it's a lot quicker than going into your inventory and switching between your weapon this way. The only downside with it is there's no way of using this to switch your armor or your shield. So if you want to switch your armor or your shield, you still have to go into the main menu. Which seems really odd, but I guess they maybe thought that maybe you're not going to change your armor and shield that often. They clearly weren't expecting people to play Force. Because Force should do it all the time. This would be way too long if it showed arms and shields. Yeah, I guess so. They'll try controlling up. Yes, so you find it. I mean, it is really, really useful just for quickly switching between weapons. It's also really handy as well, so if you get knocked down by an enemy, it's really handy to open your quick menu while you're down, pop a die-mate, and then what it'll mean is that when you get up, you'll use that die-mate on frame 1. So as soon as you're able to use that die-mate, you'll use it instantly. Right bumper, you play on Xbox to Elite and it's left bumper for the quick menu. So for me, if I do left bumper, it doesn't actually do anything for me. And like you, I haven't remapped it, so it could just be a weird thing with controllers. PSO is kind of renowned for being very weird with controller setup. So for me, it is definitely right bumper and controller to bring that up. So if it doesn't work on right bumper, try left. Honestly, PSO can be a nightmare sometimes getting it set up to run properly on a controller, so... Left button menu, right bumper camera. Oh, yeah, so yours is definitely reversed to mine then, because for me, if I press left bumper, it flips the camera. And I know that when I played on GameCube, it was left bumper for the camera. So the way I've got it here is kind of matching how it was on GameCube. So for some reason, it seems reversed on yours, but if it works for you, it works. Yeah, I'm not sure why the triggers are back to front. That's really odd. You have to switch where the down and left on the palette was, because for some reason it was left on the palette. I think I had the same problem with mine, actually. But for me, a lot of my face buttons were just completely messed up. To be fair, though, I'm not using like a typical controller. I'm using like an 8-bit door controller, so it's not like a typical Xbox controller or anything, so I expected a little bit more issues with getting it set up. You're used to it now. Yeah, I mean, if you're used to it, I mean, it's not a big change, really, is it? It's just that the bumpers are flipped round. If it works for you, then just stick with it. There's so many confused traps in this quest. Just wait till you try and configure controller for Monster Hunter Frontier. Every main button was back to front on you. I think it's just an old game thing, isn't it? Just, you know, old games can be horrendous to get set up on like modern controllers and modern hardware. It's so confusing. There's so much telepiping in this quest. It's actually really annoying. You have to modify the keys via Steam. Yeah, so for me with PSO, I don't run it through Steam anymore. I used to run it through Steam when I used a Switch Pro controller. With this controller though, oddly this works totally fine outside of Steam, so I'm totally happy with that. PSO is not tier of old enough game that you need to use borderless window too. Yeah, I mean, I've noticed it does tend to run better like that for me. Honestly though, I think a few people have said this as well, but honestly, getting PSO to run is so much easier than getting PSU to run. For some reason, PSU is just a complete nightmare to set up sometimes in comparison to PSO. Despite it being a newer game. Another thing you got used to is playing without sound. You can't lower it to where it's bearable. Yeah, it's probably something where you'd have to look into like your Windows volume settings, I'm guessing, and just see if you can help it through there. But yeah, I know that PSO is not the easiest thing to get set up to be playable comfortably on modern systems. You're on GameCube with an ASCII controller. I want to play my GameCube version more, but yeah, I say this every single stream, and Kilniath will mock me mercilessly for it every time. But yeah, I really do need to either get my GameCube repaired or just get a new one. The problem is now I'm at such a high level on Blue Burst that I'm like, well, I'm not really missing anything now by going back to GameCube. But it would be nice to have it repaired just so I can play some Episode 3 and a few other games I've got as well. So is that controller, is that the one that looks like a GameCube controller but it's got a keyboard stuck in the middle of it? You also need, so that you need to play NGS all the time. You disagree with me on that one. Honestly, the only reason I'm playing GS is it's mainly because obviously I'm a creator over there. I feel like I'm kind of need to do content for it. There will be an NGS video coming within the next week or two, I promise, for the 1 or 2 people who want to see more NGS stuff. You wonder if you should go to Blue Burst? There's no harm in trying it. I mean, it's a free download and everything. It's really easy to set up. So maybe just try it out and see what you think. There are some elements of GameCube that I do prefer to Blue Burst, but there is some things about Blue Burst that I prefer to GameCube as well, so... There's way too many warps. It feels like a challenge mode stage, honestly. Yeah, basically stretching official controller and stuff for keyboard in the middle. For me, I just use like, it was just a regular keyboard that had an attachment to attach it to the GameCube, so... Mainly because I seem to remember that there was official keyboards with the GameCube controller on the end of it. I'm sure they were really expensive. Maybe that's where PlayStation got the inspiration for the Portal. I'd actually forgotten about the existence of the PlayStation Portal, and now I regret everything remembering it. It must be one of the most cursed looking consoles that's ever released, surely. It looks awful. It's twice the cost of a Wavebird, and I remember that the Wavebird was actually quite pricey as well. I know that because I had one back in the day. I have no idea which way I'm going, by the way. It is many years since I've done this quest. This is clearly going to lock us in, isn't it? Yeah, pretty much. There were controllers with a keyboard for GameCube. Oh, yes. It looks as bad as you expect. So yeah, it is literally, if you look it up on Shentan, it literally looks like a GameCube controller that's been cut down the middle with the keyboard stuffed in the middle of it. It's not even a console, it just remote plays your PS5. I actually forgot about that actually, yeah. That's ridiculous, isn't it, really? Like, you'd think it'd be at least be like a handheld, even if it played at like, you know, low res or anything. It's just stupid that it's essentially just a... Well, I suppose, I mean, it is called Portal, I guess, but... It just seems like something no one wants. Well, to me, at least, anyway. Oh, we've got a Silence Claw drop on the stream, so... That's the weekly Silence Claw done. The thing is, they actually have a use now. At least we can team point them now. Wavebird was really cool for a wireless control in 2003. Really miss that yours broke on you. I used to have one, and then my brother moved away and had some cats, and he couldn't play his GameCube. Well, I think he had a Wii. He couldn't play the Wii because every time he tried playing it, his cats would attack the controller cards. So he asked if I'd like sell him or give him the Wavebird. So I've only got my wired ones now. But yeah, he basically got the Wavebird just so his cats wouldn't attack it. I love the Wavebird though. I liked how sort of like hefty it felt in your hand as well. It had a bit of weight to it, which I guess was because of the huge battery pack on it. Hi Minsky, okay. First Silence Claw in what, 3 or 4 streams? I honestly can't remember. We've had plenty of Justies. I honestly don't remember if we had a Silence Claw recently. Although I did post this on the Discord, but when we set up the new team in PSO, literally the first rare I found after setting the team up was a Silence Claw. So that's just perfect. This quest seems to really love splitting you up. It also loves traps. What unit are you using? You notice my attacks with mech guns barely miss. So at the moment, I am using V101, Heavenly Arms, which is probably why they're not missing much, Cure Freeze and Centurion ability. Realistically, I don't need the Cure Freeze here. It's just in there. I do also have Smart Link, so if you are playing Blue Burst, it is well worth using Smart Link. I should probably be using it, actually. Pretend you didn't see that. To be fair, though, as well, I do have... I've got 190... You probably can't see it because my camera, but I have 198 base ATA, so I'm almost maxed for Uniwell. These mechs also have 40 hit, so that helps as well. Yep, definitely using the Smart Link. I definitely wasn't using a Cure Freeze accidentally instead. You can see now, I mean, my accuracy is even better now. I heard a rare drop. I think it's on the other side where Drac is. It is another Silence Claw, though. It's on the item read if I can see it. It's another Silence Claw. I'm not too worried if I don't find that. Yeah, what Cure Freeze exactly? No one saw that. Was the Wavebird the first decent wireless controller? Maybe one of the first, yeah, because I think pretty much every wireless controller I tried before that was awful. The Wavebird was pretty reliable. The only weird thing about it is, the way that it worked, for anyone who didn't know, is you basically had a dongle that you plugged into the front of the GameCube, and it had a little dial on it that you would turn to like change the channel for the communication for the Wavebird, and then there was a dial on the controller that you turn to the same number to match it. And occasionally it would just stop working, so you'd have to like fiddle around with the dial a bit to get it to pick up again. But honestly, it worked pretty well, and there wasn't that much delay with it, honestly, which for 2003 is pretty impressive. Honestly, man, I absolutely love the GameCube as a console. So underrated. Oh, that is the Silence Claw. I think it was 2.4 gigahertz, which is the same as what modern controllers use. Yeah, I mean, this 8-bit door controller that I'm using, that's 2.4 gigahertz as well. So... yeah, Nintendo being ahead of the times for once. Yeah, it happens now and again. You've got a charge Vulcan with 40 or 50 hit, capped 8 year, and you find you miss more than you're comfortable with. I suppose the thing with mech guns is, even if you miss, you're firing so many bullets that it doesn't matter too much. Wavebird used 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi, so you could run it into interference from other devices. That is the downside of 2.4 GHz stuff. I know, so I used to have, a few years ago, I used to have a HTC Vive VR headset, and I had all the trackers and everything with it as well. And the problem was is that you basically had the headset, the 2 hand controllers, and then there was like 2 foot trackers and a waist tracker that all use 2.4 gigahertz. And if your Wi-Fi was on 2.4, your internet would just cut out constantly whenever you used it because it didn't interfere. So you kind of had to use 5 gigahertz to be able to use the VR with it. So that is the downside. I mean, to be honest, I think most people who use wireless now probably use, I'm guessing probably use 5 gigahertz anywhere, unless you're quite far from your router. They're pretty far ahead of the time with the Wii U. Never had lag between the Wii U gamepad and the console itself. Yeah, I can't speak on that. I never tried a Wii U. It could be one of those things, the Wii U, where it was kind of too far ahead of its time. People weren't ready for it, maybe. Probably just down to the fact that maybe there just wasn't that many games that were popular for it as well. Just team point that silence clock. 5 GHz is faster, but 2.4 pennies further has a better connection. Yeah, so when I used to use wireless in my old flat that I lived in, my actual PC was quite far from the router, so I kind of had to use 2.4 because 5 wouldn't reach it. Which then, as I said, was quite annoying whenever you want to use VR, because whenever you use VR, your internet would just cut off. You remember that there were IR controllers for the NES or SNES? Yeah, IR's a weird one. It seems to be one of these things that keeps coming back around again every so often. Spaceship is also good with yellow. We basically just employed Vector to just keep making games for us today. Disco Braveman, Daylight Scar, Guru, Lavis Cannon. And probably the only one we'll get will be Disco Braveman's. A Gurren would be nice because I would like to get a G's-Eye with hit ideally. As long as they have hit. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you get a Gurren or a Shoren that doesn't have hit, it's kind of like, what's the point? Because you can get it through Black Paper's deal anyway. Well, I don't get Gurren through it anyway. Can't remember if you can get Shoren. What is the password vector? Because whatever it is, it isn't what we normally use. Oh, you put Steam instead of Stream. You guessed it and got in. Yeah, so I saw that Minsk's joined the lobby, so after this run we can always just rotate around if we need to. I'm going to deposit this mine material because I am bound to use it accidentally. Also, just let me know in chat as well if you can hear a fan in the background, because it's really, really warm here at the minute, so I've put a fan on. So if you do hear it, just let me know and I can always put it somewhere else. What's the current team goal and what did you unlock so far? So we literally made the team after the stream last week. So far, all we've got is the team flag. So I think the next thing is we're probably going to unlock the member limit to 20. Because we've only got a 10 member limit at the moment. So I'll probably unlock the 20 member limit, and then after that probably either the dressing room or point of disaster. Didn't know you kept your YouTube fans in your room, Skyly, that's concerning. Fans as in devices that blow air. Not as in my literal YouTube. I don't like the term fans for people who follow, to be honest. I dread to think what this quest can be like because it's one of the penumbral surge quests, and they're normally horrendous. So, I like how we all missed that console. Blair, that's also YouTube. Oh, I'm not even going down that line. Okay, so we have several warps to different colors. I have no idea what they are. I've never done this quest, so I have no idea what it is. So this appears to be a great quest for hunting dub chicks. I did look at the enemy count for this quest before we did it, and there's about 200 gill chicks in it. We're all in Skyly's basement. Well, it may shock you to know that I don't have a basement, so if you're in someone's basement, you're not in mine. Yeah, there's 200 in the whole quest. It's insane enemy counts. It is a little weird for enemies though, this, so although there's 200 gill chicks, there's only, I think there was 8 barons. He cemented them in. What do the 200 chicks drop? I honestly have no idea what they drop for yellow bows. I know that there is a chance of getting Disco Braveman, so maybe Disco Braveman, I would assume. Which is good if that's the case, because it means there's a chance to get one hit. Is it really a gearball? Really? The thing is about that as well, it's not even worth picking up because they're only 1 team points. Dragon Slayer, okay, brilliant. See, if it was something like a Silence Claw, I actually wouldn't mind because at least they're 10 stars, so they give you 10 points. When it's a 9-star weapon, it's just pointless, like they're not even worth picking up. Also, it's Dragon Slayer from Dub Chicks and Gearballs from Gill Chicks. So both are worthless then. Be typing very well today, surprisingly given the heat. It is really, really warm at the minute. I'm guessing this is like the UK's 3 or 4 days of summer, and then things will be back to normal. 3 to 4 days if I want to die. In Minecraft YouTube, just to clarify that. Yeah, I can't think of much worse than being sat in a conservatory when it's really hot. To be fair, it's pretty awful in here at the minute, mainly because my PC throws out so much heat. I am essentially sat next to an oven. Keeps the PC nice and cool. It just boils me. Need to put blue fans in it that run cooler. Is that how it works? Yeah, the price to pay for PSO. Any price is worth paying for PSO. And speaking of price to pay for PSO, if you live in the UK, if you go on eBay at the moment, there is something on there that is ridiculous if you're a PSO merch fan. There is a copy of the Book of Hunters, which is a art book for Dreamcast PSO. But it's claiming that it's signed by Yuji Naka. Now, there is no way of verifying it whether it is actually a legit Yuji Naka signature. But yeah, it's going for £200. I will not be buying it because I'm not risking it being a fake signature. Oh, there we go. There's a gear ball drop. Yeah, $199.95 our best offer. I mean, if it is signed by Yuji Naka, that is really, really cool. Although the other side of it, to look at it, is you are buying something by someone who is now a convicted criminal. Yeah, I'm not willing to go for it because I don't trust it enough. And to be honest, I already have a copy of the Book of Hunters anyway, so I don't, even if it is signed by him, I don't need another one. Yeah, genius and convicted criminal. Yeah, Yuji Naka got done for insider trading. But he did work on PSO, so can we forgive him? Probably not, to be honest, considering he probably made a hell of a lot of money through insider trade. And just say I actually really like the design of Gearborg and I don't like the organic looking weapons. Yeah, I don't mind how it looks. It's actually a pretty cool looking weapon, honestly. I totally agree, killing the Ephinea, that most of them just don't get caught. I think, haven't we already done that one? Maybe not, because that's not showing as finished. I've just realised the switches on the wall that show you which ones you've already done. Oh, look, material. Yeah, it is quite a cool looking weapon. It's just a shame it's not particularly good. I mean, it's useful for lower level. But later on, you're going to want to switch to something else. Because unfortunately, even the special one, it's not terribly useful. I realise I am using mech guns on basically everything, but when you're fighting in areas like this, sometimes it's the best option. especially against the guild chicks anyway, because they just don't flinch that often. So trying to melee on guild chicks can be really annoying because you get interrupted all the time. I'll take that. Photon drop from it was either from a guild chick or a dub chick. I'll take that because that's far more valuable. You need a green humor to get the most out of Ancient Saber Link cosplay. I mean, yeah, it is essentially just like a Legend of Zelda weapon, isn't it? Yeah, I know what you mean, Kilniath. Trying to melee them is a pain just because they don't have like damage reactions. I know they fall down now and again, but with the normal hard and very hard guild chicks, they'll fall down every hit you do on them. But the guild chick ones, I believe it's about a 20% chance to fall over with each hit. So if they don't fall over, you just get hit because they just don't react to your damage. They also succeed in double punching you since you don't get knocked down. That's mainly a multiplayer thing, so you'll probably find in single player they'll just hit you once with each double punch. It's kind of weird how it works. So in single player they'll do a double punch, but you'll only actually take one lot of damage. Panam's drop Tripolic Reflector. That's a really weird shield, so I believe that's the shield that kind of has a chance of... It either has a chance of changing your resistances every so often, or it's the one that changes your defense and your evade when you're moving. I think it's the one that changes it when you're moving. So Draken just got a Yasminkov 2000H, so the really cool looking handgun. Yeah, on multiplayer, a lot of the attacks that seem to hit you more than once will hit you for every hit they do. So, a perfect example is the Sinnohs. So, the Sinnohs, when they do that double punch, you probably notice that in multiplayer, each of the punches will hit you and do damage. We got a 15-hit Dragon Slayer. Yes, Sinnohs are rough. Particularly when you get to the point where they don't knock you over anymore. All reasons I fell out with Spaceship. Well, the good thing is, in a normal Spaceship run, you don't have Sinnohs. They don't exist here normally. It's only that that random attack mission we've been doing puts Sinnohs in there as well. I mean, Spaceship is not one of my favourite areas, but it does definitely have one of the best soundtracks. Sod that quest in particular, then. Yeah, that quest is very, very rough, particularly with all the bringers as well. So we have not done this one. On entering ult today for the first time, realise you should not ignore your mag. Also, is it the very first time you've been to Ultimate then? I mean, Ultimate is a huge change from the other difficulties, but it's definitely the most fun. Unless you do episode 2, in which case fun is determined as getting instant killed over and over again. Yeah, somehow I doubt the Disco Braveman has 85 hit. We can live in hope. First time today, Kind Hunter gave you a mag to support your journey. Oh, nice one. Yeah, you're probably love Ultimate, honestly. It can be a little bit rough when you first get here, but it's definitely where the most fun is in the game, in my opinion. You'll spend so much time in Ultimate. You know, if you like the general rotation of how the game works, then you'll love Ultimate. I tend to find as well a lot of people in the community are really, really kind and will help out new players. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people just want to see more people play PSO. I've always thought it's really weird with the Panarms. So in episode 1, Panarms have really, really high defense, and you basically have to use Zala on them to hurt them. Where in episode 2, they don't. I've always found that really weird. Yeah, not having much luck with any good drops at the minute, unfortunately. I've had a few interesting things drop so far, but for me, basically just photon drops. Which I'll take because they're at least useful. The number of times he got killed by a Panarms in normal is nuts. There's a weird bug with Panarms on this server. I don't know if it was the thing that was in all the versions of PSO or not, but now and again, that red beam that they fire, sometimes what will happen is they'll spawn, and say if it's a quest where you can ignore them, you'll run into like another room, or you'll be a few rooms away, and the Panarms will do the beam and still hit you, even though you're like on the other side of the map. It happens quite a lot in TTF when the Panarms spawn there. I have no idea why it happens, but just occasionally you'll be running through a room, like 3 or 4 rooms away from the Panarms, and you'll just die or get hit from the beam. Some random guy joined my game and told me to get good because you're buying ad slots from a player instead of getting them from Gallon Shop, but you got them for 2 to 1, so worth it. If you're buying ad slots, in my opinion, if you're playing, especially on Ephinea, go through players. You're conning yourself if you go through Gallon Shop, honestly. Because through Gallon Shop, you're paying 1 photon drop for each ad slot, where the going rate is 2 ad slots for 1 PD with players. So yeah, go players. I don't understand why they would tell you to get good or saving yourself photon drops. That's really, really weird. Oh, Zell got a red barrier. Yeah, I don't understand that at all. You know, that's like saying, you know, you could buy this item for 100,000 Mazetta, or you can get it for 50,000. You know, you're doing it wrong if you buy it for 50,000, though. It makes no sense. Yeah, I have no idea where we go in this quest, to be fair. Well, that does nothing. Yeah, I suppose it's kind of the the play with online games, isn't it? You're always going to get some people who just have a go at you for no reason. But yeah, my personal opinion is if you can get 2 ad slots for 1 PD, do it. But when Skyly plays PSU later, he won't get called a bender on a beach this time. Yeah, that was wild on deployable stream. For anyone who didn't see it, we were just chilling at Paracabana Beach at the end of the stream, and some random guy just showed up who was they were English and they were a football fan, and for some reason just showed up, called us benders, and then tried running away. It was absolutely wild. So, does anyone know where we're going? Because I have no idea. I mean, there is some small switches on the walls, but I doubt you have to shoot them. Yeah, you can't hit them, so I'm guessing there must be like a hidden switch or something somewhere. But there must be something we missed. Maybe the yellow route, the door is still locked. I'll check it, but I thought we did it. So they're both unlocked. And they're both unlocked as well. I'm not a big fan of quests like this where you have to constantly warp around and just try and find the route. Yeah, I think the big wall switches, I think they're like an indicator that shows you that you've completed that route. You found it? More pipe hopping. Oh, so it was just in the middle of a room somewhere. Fair enough. I think the warp quests are a side effect of the maps being predetermined layouts rather than being randomly generated. I think so, yeah. There's only so much they can do with it, I guess. Oh, it was a side room, okay. Oh, we got sorcerers. Yeah, we'll probably play around about another 20-25 minutes or so PSO, and then we'll probably switch over to PSU. Depends how long this quest is, honestly. Del Saber's a Lavis cannon, let's go. Yeah, how hard can it be? Sorcerer is Rage de Foudre. Yeah, because they did a weird thing with the Rage de Fou on this server. So I believe there's like 3 different versions of it. Have different specials. They're all called slightly different names. I don't know if any of them are actually worth using. Yeah, because I know I've got the fire one, the Rage de Fou, I think it's called. So I've got that one, but I know there is, I think there's a ice one, and I'm assuming one is thunder. Oh, it's actually a fake laser fence. That's kind of cool, actually. Yeah, I honestly don't know if any of them are worth using, but I mean, let's be real, for mech guns, you're probably going to be using either Yaz 9Ks or Charge Vulcans anywhere. Rage the Pew Pew. That's actually a really good name for it. Yeah, for anyone who didn't see, the next lore video went live earlier on, so the plan is now to probably just continue that most weeks. There might be the odd week where it takes a break, so if I'm doing like a collab video or something, it might take a break for that week, but any week that there isn't a collab, there will probably be a lore video until that's finished. I was also thinking of potentially doing, it's still sort of brainstorming at the minute, but I was thinking of potentially doing like a series where it would only be short videos, but where I focus on like a specific item in PSO and cover sort of some elements about it and like the best ways to hunt it. So I was thinking of potentially doing that for either as like short content or for just more short form videos. I'm not totally sure yet, to be honest. We're sort of spitballing ideas at the minute. Oh, there's Rage Dame as well, which is Geist. Geist could be useful for Raymal, I guess. First item has to be SGS. Yeah, how would you hunt SGS? Don't bother. Weapon lore for the Gearborg. You're watching Super Ad's videos on Monster Hunter weapons, and honestly, you could do similar PSO, like the move sets and how best to use each type of weapon. Yeah, I mean, I've been thinking of things like that, so maybe that's something I could look into. I have been debating as well whether to do some shorts content for YouTube. I'm honestly not sure yet because I know sometimes it can be quite damaging to your channel if it doesn't take off well. But I was thinking for things I can cover in a very short space of time, maybe that's the best way to do it. I don't know. I do want to do a little bit more Monster Hunter content as well, but I think the plan for that is, I think what I'm going to do for the Monster Hunter video, well, for videos for Monster Hunter is, instead of it replacing a Phantasy Star video per week, what I'll probably do is maybe every few weeks or so, or every month, I'll maybe try and do like a bonus video covering something else, and that's maybe where I can fit some Monster Hunter stuff in, just so I'm not taking away from the Phantasy Star content. Because at the moment, realistically, I can only really commit to like 2 videos a week and a stream a week, just because I work full time as well, and it's a lot of time to put into the channel, doing more than 2 videos a week. But if it was an extra video once a month, that's not too bad, because I can work on a little bit each week. Are the Del Sabers taller? I mean, they shouldn't be. I mean, it should be the same models. Yeah, Lavis Cannon room, just with no Lavis Cannon though. Yeah, I am always interested in hearing ideas for content as well. On our Discord, there is actually like a stream suggestions part, which I'll probably rename to just like channel suggestions. So if anyone has any idea for, you know, for any videos that you'd like to see, by all means put it in there, or any, you know, any feedback you want to give about the channel as well. Ideally constructive. What character do you play? On my full-size ray casting, they seem small the same. Yeah, I mean, to me, they seem fine. Oh, I got so excited there. We got a banner for Lumerace Block 2, which is not us. Also, it happened at the same time that I got a Gearball drop. And another Gearball drop. We're farming Gearballs now. So I think that was like 3 or 4 Gearballs in the same room. Do you play on controller? Yeah, so I've always played PSO on controller personally. I just, for me, I feel like it works better. But it is totally playable on mouse and keyboard as well if you want to play it that way. Yeah, Mario, the main class I play is this one, so I mainly play Uniworld. But I do also, I've got a few other classes as well, so I do also play World, I play Raymal. So I've played most classes to some extent. Yeah, that is the only issue with playing on keyboard. You have that weird sort of rotation when you move. So if you don't know what I mean, if I stand still on controller and I hit one of the directions, I will start moving straight away. So you can see if I point left and then if I hit right, I'll move straight away to the right. But on keyboard, what it'll do is you'll rotate round and then start walking. I don't know if I can show you that actually. Yeah, so you can see, like, this is me using the keyboard. You can see I kind of do this weird rotation first. It's not too bad sometimes, but if you stop, you rotate. So you basically have to just constantly keep moving. It's just a weird inconsistency with the keyboard controls for some reason. So I personally prefer controller. I should probably just drop these Gearballs and Dragon Slayers really because, I mean, I guess I can team point them, but they are only 1 point each. I will say the enemy counts in this quest are quite good. It seems pretty good for hunting most things in Spaceship, honestly. Maybe apart from Barons, because it didn't seem to have too many of those. Which, to be honest, at the minute is probably a blessing. One team point is one team point. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, you're hunting SGS at the Minute Park. Oh, my condolences. Seriously, good luck with it. Yeah, the way the team points work is kind of weird. I mean, I understand 9 stars only being worth 1 point and 10 stars being 10 is fine. But 11 stars are only 50 and 12 stars are 100. I'm sorry, but if you get a 12-star weapon, first of all, you're never going to team point it anywhere. But to only get 100 points for like something like a Psycho Wand is ridiculous. Again, not that you're going to team point it anywhere. And SGS would only be 50. Until you unseal it, and then it's worth 100. Yeah, points mean prizes eventually. They are very, very keen on these laser fences. You have to switch to your phone and swap room. This one gets the sun all afternoon. You're melting. We're wrestling now, yeah. Like the WWE or the AEW of PSO. It's that suplexing the gill chicks. Yeah, don't bother until it just get too easy. Yeah, no problem. Easy. The really funny thing about SGS as well is that if you do finally get one, if you get one that's got hit, which, you know, is actually a reasonable chance because the chance of hit is not terrible. If you get one, it's actually not worth unsealing it. It's actually better to keep it sealed so that you've got a hell sword with hit. Another Gearborg. It's got more than 4 sides, so it's TNA surely. Yeah, I guess so, yeah. To be fair, I've never really watched TNA. My entire exposure to wrestling was... I watched a lot of the Attitude Era when I was a kid. And WCW back in the day. And more recently, I watched a bit of AEW. Although I have fallen out with it a bit recently. Just don't have time to watch it very often, honestly. I enjoy it enough when I do watch it. It's stupid, but... I mean, that's just kind of wrestling in general, isn't it? Let's team point this pile of Gearborgs. And the Dragon Slayer. A TNA wrestler nearly got the UK singles #1 over Taylor Swift. It's brilliant. What wrestler was it? You got 8 million Mazetta in the bank. You go and hit up Corrin. He'll take it off your hands. Oh, Joe Hendry. I think I saw that. I think it got recommended to me on YouTube, but I never watched it. I'm sure I remember seeing a video pop up about Joe Hendry. Oh, no worries, Park. Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, now Minsk is a VI man. Yeah, I must admit, I am noticing the 200 gill checks. It does definitely feel like 200 gill checks. That is actually hilarious, though, that a wrestler nearly beat Taylor Swift. And the weird thing is, he's not the only wrestler to have a band. I imagine you probably know, but Chris Jericho has a rock band as well. You'll wait until you hit 1 billion for VIA. Zero, okay. I like some of their stuff. They are a bit of a mixed bag, I think. I don't necessarily know how I feel about Chris Jericho in general, but some of his work that he's done is hilarious, but there is a lot of like slightly dodgy stuff going around about him as well, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't mind some of the music. Can I use my -5 hit VI? Anyone want to try it? Yeah, it's like you're trying to get rid of your money, but you can't because it keeps missing. Although actually with VI, it would still waste your money. Because VI's charge still charges you 10,000 even if you miss. He was one of your faves growing up, but he's outstayed his welcome. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like he should probably just be like a enhancement. Well, I guess like behind the scenes talent, like training people or a commentator or something. Because he's really funny when he commentates, but in ring, maybe it's a bit past his best. Maybe. Yeah, I used to watch a lot of AEW, honestly, but lately, not as much. Surefire way to get rid of Mazetta. It is, I mean, it's probably the fastest way to get rid of it as well, by doing nothing. We should just keep missing and keep wasting it. Best commentary team was JR and Paul Heyman. I mean, JR's a legend. I mean, I know that he does still commentate now and again for AEW, but it is quite infrequent now because, you know, obviously he's had a lot of health issues. He's a legend, though. I find it funny that just because one of the rooms looked a bit like a wrestling ring, we're now just talking about wrestling. Oh, finally done. That's quite an interesting quest. I mean, the enemy counts in it are crazy. I'm not really a fan of all the running backwards and forwards, trying to find the right routes and everything. That's a little bit annoying. Yeah, it's pretty good for Del Sabers and Sorcerers. It's just, like you, I don't really like the start of the quest. After the start, it's not too bad, though. Yeah, I saw that base play, yeah. You don't think yellow was good here? It got us piles and piles of Gearborgs and Dragon Slayers. If anything, it got us team points. Yeah, Scarlet gets a ton of Dragon Slayers there, unsurprisingly. Yeah, I actually remember to talk to the lab for probably the first time in any stream. Oh. Oh, so close. That's the first time I've ever had charged Vulcans in the shop, but no hit. One day. Yeah, Skyline can get Guren from the Del Sabers as well, which is pretty nice. Well, we've got several 9 stars, a 4 on dropping a luck material. It's something. Problem with Rare Enemy Week is you only have the boost of the rare enemies, so there's no experience boost, there's no rare drop boost, there's no drop all rate boost. So it's kind of a bit of a flat week, honestly, because unless you're hunting something from a rare enemy, there's not much benefit to doing anything. How much better would charge Vulcans be over your current mechs? On this character, probably wouldn't be, because these mechs are quite a lot stronger than regular Vulcans, and these have 40 hit, which is enough. But the charge Vulcans would be quite useful for my other characters, so particularly for my Huka Seal. $10,000 Mazetta really doesn't seem like much for that. That seemed like a lot of work for 10,000. So I think what we'll do is I'll take a couple of minutes break and we'll switch over to some PSU. And we'll just do a few runs on PSU just to close out the stream. So for anyone who's joined for the PSO part, thanks for joining. If you're interested in seeing some Phantasy Star Universe, stick around because we're playing more of that. If you're joining for PSU, we'll get started in a couple of minutes. So I'll take a couple of minutes, just go and get a drink, and then we'll switch over to PSU. So I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Hi guys, welcome back. So who knows if we'll get a DMCA, because at the minute it is Sonic the Hedgehog's birthday. Yeah, today literally is Sonic the Hedgehog's 33rd birthday, so there's a Sonic lobby in the game. Complete with the cringy Sonic Heroes theme. I sort of love the Sonic Heroes theme, but also kind of hate it. It's one of those things that gets stuck in your head constantly. Just let me know if the volume's any good as well for PSU, because I've had to sort of play around with it a bit off stream, so if anything's too loud or too quiet, just let me know. You need to log in now. Unfortunately, it doesn't play on the Guardians HQ, which is where everyone is. Yeah, that song so many times when waiting for a friend last time the event was on. I like that we've got caster thought as well. Absolutely love the character name. So yeah, I have no idea what the best players at the minute, because as far as I understand, the experience week has now ended. We did do a bit off stream, which is why I'm level 114. But yeah, I believe the experience week has now ended. So invasion. I mean, I guess that's probably the plan. I'm totally fine doing that. Oh cool, we've got a Shentan as well. Sonic Adventure for Dreamcast, the best OSTs ever, 1 and 2. I love a lot of like the Crush 40 Sonic music. It's really, really cheesy, but I love it. So yeah, another little change is off stream, I have switched from Fortier Fighter over to Acro Fighter. I have a really scuffed build at the minute because I don't have many Acro Fighter weapons, but we'll make it work. Yeah, we also have April O'Neil as well. Problem with Sonic music is when you hear it for the 100th time, yeah, pretty much. It's fine to hear a few times, but when you've heard the Sonic Heroes theme like 20, 30, 40 times, it does get a little bit old. Yeah, I'm totally fine doing Invasion if that's the best option at the minute. Quite nice to come back to PSU actually. Yeah, I know someone in chat was asking earlier on, so just to reiterate, this server is called Clementine, and it's pretty much one of the only PSU servers going, so it probably is your best option if you want to play PSU Online. I'm at the wrong counter again. I always do this. Every single time I pick the wrong counter. I have a feeling that just went to the wrong one again. Oh no, we're good. Oh, we're doing S3. Level 175 enemies and I'm level 114. Nice. I'm sure this won't be a problem. Again, there is no issue with the music here. There is literally no music in this part for some reason. I have no idea why. But yeah, just let me know if it's if PSU is too loud or anything like that. I can always adjust it if I need to. Now I've got another guy. Cool. Actual full party in PSU. What is this? I will just pretend like I'm doing damage. Came back just in time for PSU. Yeah, so we'll probably play PSU for about maybe about an hour and a half or so. My play is still kind of bad in PSU because I'm still leveling this character, so a lot of the photon arts are really low level, which is why I'm just spamming the first part of this PA at the minute. So I desperately want it to level. It's one thing I do not miss about PSU. Leveling photon arts was awful. It wasn't so bad last week because last week they had double experience on Fortnite, so they leveled a bit faster. But that's ended now. Watching the DCP PSO video I posted reminded you how you're in a different era for character names. Yeah, all I remember from like PSO GameCube was like several characters called, you know, SSJ, Goku, or there was incredible, absolutely incredible amount of Sephiroths. Exactly what you were typing. Yeah, it was basically all just Goku, Trunks, Vegeta. Essentially any name from Dragon Ball. Or Sephiroth. This is the one thing I really don't like about this quest. This warp is incredibly buggy. And for some reason just sometimes will not work. You kind of have to run around it for some reason. Whoever's using the Red Scorpio, you're doing God's work. Yeah, from what I understand, I believe Red Scorpio is actually really good in this. I don't have one myself, so I don't know, but I'm sure Draken said before that it's really good. Yeah, there was a few Vash the Stampede as well. Makes you wonder what would be the difference now if PSU was out now. I guess it would be like whatever any popular anime is now. So maybe a lot of free runs, maybe. No, I'm really not familiar with a lot of anime now. I am watching free run at the minute though, to be fair. Yeah, Satoru Gojo. Yeah, Gojo, I guess, yeah. I'm just like here pretending I'm doing something, really. I don't really feel like I'm contributing anything to this. A lot of New World free runs, yeah, probably. You want an anime that was real chill, so you ended up watching Clannad. Honestly, for me, it's just finding the time to watch things, you know. I don't have the time to watch anything that I want to watch at the minute, so watching anime as well is like, I often just don't have the time. May as well try and get a bit of experience on this PA, I guess, while I'm here. There we go. Is that dragon part pig? That died very fast considering it was like level 175. Honestly, man, one of the coolest things about PSU is all of the racial abilities. Dragon Scale. That's a PSO rare, that. Migium Claw, as in a Migium from PSO. You guys don't have the rite of passage, which is sad. I've only seen a little bit of that, and yeah. I kind of wish that you could add like the same item to multiple palette slots on PSU. So is this... Research analysis confirmed that it was originally part of a monster. Yeah, okay, that's half of Pan Arms then. How good's it? Incredibly strong compared to my one I'm using. It probably looks awful, but we'll go with it. Gonna be honest, had both PSO and PSU back when you were young, but never got to see them in comparison now until the stream. Never realised how much you like PSO better. I mean, yeah, to be fair, PSO is totally different, really. There's a couple of similarities, I guess, but the games do diverge quite a lot. So if you like PSO a lot, you may not necessarily like PSU. It's always infuriated me in this game how when you buy something, it defaults to no. Like, I'm in the buy menu, just let me buy it straight away. Wait, there was a weapon called a shag. Yeah, so how to explain this? So there was a weapon which is essentially like a range mag in PSU in the expansion, which was called a Shadoog. But a lot of the Shadoogs, I don't know why they call it Shadoogs, we'll call it Shags. That is a really ugly one. I mean, it's Clad 6 from PSP2, which I guess is kind of cool. Oh, we're going for a different map this time. Cool. I am literally getting followed by the entire ship from PSP2. That is incredibly ugly. Yeah, the way these shags work is they essentially auto fire enemies when they're close. So you don't have to actually control them, they just work automatically. Okay, yeah, so it is what I expected. So it's essentially the Pan Arms blade from PSO, but one of them uses a claw. Which is really odd because you would think they would just use it as a dagger. Considering it was daggers in PSO. Unless there is a dagger version as well. Actually doesn't look as bad as I thought it would. It's a good game, but you like how hardcore PSO feels. Yeah, like I said, they are quite different games. I mean, if you enjoy PSO, then you've still got options to play that, I guess, as well. You've still got, you know, servers like Ephinea or ragdoll.org if you want to go on GameCube. And alternatively, if you want to jump on PSU, you can do that on Clementine. So it's quite nice that a lot of the games are still really well supported. Admittedly by private servers, but you've still got options. Yeah, so this server, Victor, it has a lot of... She's a Victor Oliveira, actually. I've just realised there's two different Victors. Yeah, there is a lot of PSP2 outfits and gear and things like that that have been ported over that weren't obviously originally in PSU. I wish PSO 2 scratched the same itch PSO did. I was so eager for its US release and so very disappointed. Would love a PSO remaster. Honestly, I feel the main issue with global PSO 2 was just that it launched so late. You know, there was an 8-year gap between the Japanese version and the Western version. Which again is why a lot of people who've only played the Western version think that PSO 2 has way more content than NGS, which it does. But it's because it got 8 years worth of content more or less straight away. So I think just the fact there was an 8-year gap kind of screwed over global PSO 2 to an extent. Anyone familiar with Jesse Cox on YouTube? The name rings a bell. I don't know why though. You just commented on your latest FF14 video. I guess keep an eye on it. If it gets tons of likes, then you know it's someone big. Jesse Cox is a big YouTuber in Final Fantasy 14, huh? There you go to playable. Looks like you got someone noticed. Which I'm really glad about because I know you've been wanting to try and get more people to notice things like the FF14 videos, so... Hopefully if... Well, as long as it was saying something nice anyway, because you haven't said that. Hopefully it was a nice comment. He's verified with over 1 million subs. Okay. Well, hopefully that'll divert some more people towards your channel. You would like to think so anyway, if he's got 1 million subs. That's actually really lucky. It's crazy how that works out sometimes. Oh, it was a nice comment. Oh, cool. Is this another broken war? Yep. You need to help a brother out. Yeah, so what you need to do is send him a reply back and say, hey, have you tried Phantasy Star Online? No worries, dude. No, I'm really, really happy for you. I think for my channel in particular, it's because I am so heavily focused on Phantasy Star. The pool of creators is obviously a lot smaller than FF14, so it stands to reason that obviously you've got more chance of getting discovered playing something like FF14. That's really, really cool. It's always nice to see as well when a big channel like that reaches out to, with no offense at all, to us, to a smaller channel, because we are, in comparison to that, we are minuscule compared to him. It's always nice when they reach out to a smaller channel and show interest in their content and try and sort of spread awareness of it. Yeah, bring another into the addiction. Well, there is a risk with that, because then if you bring like a 1 million sub YouTube channel into PSO, there'll be nothing left for us. But no, in all seriousness, dude, that's really, really cool that someone's actually noticed the content, that actually has a lot of pull on YouTube. just realised now that I leveled twice. I don't even remember leveling. It's probably because the enemies are like 60, 70 levels higher than me, so... But so much work in those videos, it's nice that even one person sees them. Oh, I know what you mean. I know we discussed it before, didn't we, where you put a ton of work in the videos. I tried to sort of knock the volume down that before it exploded everyone's ears. Again, for some reason, that specific sound on Adana is way louder than anything in the entire game. And I have the volume very low on PSO, on PSU at the minute. I was going to Nano Blast, but I have a feeling he's just going to die instantly anyway. I like how he just killed me by essentially just nudging me a bit. I guess that's what happened when the boss is like 70 levels higher than you. I'm just getting absolutely murdered here. The problem with this guy is occasionally he will just move a little bit. So I did knock the PSU volume down there quite a lot, and that was probably still loud. I mean, I'll pick up the Inferno Bazooka because it's a PSO weapon. So by that logic, I should probably pick up Egg Blaster as well. It's like a YouTuber you follow called My Dry Bread who does Pokemon challenges. When he does big team runs, he names his Pokemon after smaller channels and promotes them at the same time. That's really, really cool. So I've been watching the channel for about half a year now. Yeah, so I mean, I'm trying when I started streaming. I mean, I started doing the videos in general in about... Well, when I started to roll them out more frequently, it was about April 2023, I think. But obviously I wasn't streaming when I first started the videos, so that's a more recent thing. It was kind of funny, actually. I decided to... A couple of weeks ago, I decided to go back and watch a little bit of my first stream, just to see if like something on manner had changed or anything. And it was amazing actually seeing how different I act on stream now to when I did then. Like you could tell on the very first stream that I was obviously nervous and stuff, so... You watched some of the videos before the streaming. Yeah, I remember you commenting on a few. It was 5 months ago, the last stream. For some reason, it feels longer than that. I don't know why. You joined in about halfway through the test stream. Yeah, I mean, again, I have to probably thank Drac for that, because Drac was the one that actually convinced me to actually try streaming. This looks kind of crazy, this area. I'm guessing this might be like the contaminated more tube. Who wouldn't be nervous in the first stream? You don't know how to do it, or if anyone will show up. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of my thinking. So when I first tried it, my thought was no one's realistically going to show up much. And I think a lot of that was just based on my experience on Twitch, because as people who have watched for a while, you'll probably know that I did stream on Twitch for about a year. Going back quite a few years ago now, so I think it was around about 2017, around then. And basically no one watches. So that was my experience of streaming, so I was expecting no one to turn up, basically. So needless to say, I'm very, very relieved that people do actually show up to the streams. It does mean a lot. That and watching the videos as well, obviously. Even though I'm still trying to work out the YouTube algorithm as to what is actually worth recording. You got straight up invested when you replied to the comment on an older video. You weren't expecting it. My view on that basically is, I get informed on YouTube when someone comments on a video. It takes me literally a couple of minutes at most to respond to a comment. Why wouldn't I? I get that obviously if you're a massive YouTube channel and you've got hundreds or thousands of comments, then obviously it's going to become impossible to respond to them all. But when you're a small channel, having someone comment on your video is massively confidence building, because that person has taken the time to watch some of your video and leave you the comment. So the least you can do is respond to it. That's always been my view anyway, personally. I do try and respond to every comment that I get now as well, even if it's just leaving a heart, or sometimes I will leave a comment as well. But I do try and sort of actively respond to people if I can. Drax trying to rope Clementine into Ultimate. I'm way off that on PSU, unfortunately. Just the small matter of getting to 190. Do great content, man. Oh, cheers, Victor. Yeah, it's always nice to hear when people actually say that they actually like the videos. Like, comment, and subscribe. It's funny, I always hate doing that at the end of the videos. I kind of feel like I have to, just because it's what you do on YouTube, but it always feels so forced and cringy. I'd saying love, you're a person, not just some online personality who can't be communicated with. Yeah, I basically, I didn't want to kind of put on an act when I streamed. I thought, if people don't like my streams for the way I am, then I'm not really interested in streaming. You know, if people like watching because the way I act, then that's fine. I'm happy to do that, but I didn't want to be a person who has to like put on an act to get people to watch them. Word spreads as well. Oh, Porkins was the one that told about me. That's kind of cool. Yes, I don't know if you know Mario. I mean, you might have already joined. I'm not sure, but I know Porkins is over on the Discord, so feel free to join us over on there as well. Oh yeah, the raycast that we played with a few times. Ah, I didn't know that. Yeah, I remember playing with you on a few streams, now come to think of it. glad you stumbled onto the channel. Very few folks know what I'm talking about when I bring up playing PSO and Dreamcast. Love your content. Cheers, Mars. Yeah, the general consensus is like, if you talk about PSO, people will just kind of look at you with a pained expression and just not have a clue what you're talking about. But oh, that's another bugged warp. Why are these warps so bad? Hey, that one actually worked. Cool. Min said the same thing. He's genuinely a nice dude. Not paid comments, by the way. Well, we'll talk about that later. It's a filthy casual that barely does anything but episode 1. To be fair, dude, I don't think you can say you're a casual if you've got a level 190 odd raycast. At that point, you're hooked. When do you get your check, by the way? It'll be in the mail. Hi, Hermit. Or Bontan, as I know he was. Played originally on Dreamcast and Xbox after. I played quite a bit on split screen. Yeah, split screen was an interesting experience. It was, I mean, it was nice that it had split screen. But the problem was, like, you know, you're talking, what, 2003-ish for GameCube PSO? The kind of TVs you had in 2003 were generally pretty tiny. So to have split screen on those TVs, you could barely see what you were doing. Saw the Nano Blast and were confused, and then you realise it was Uri. Yeah, you're probably very familiar with this character, you know, being that we played PSU years ago. Can I get away with the Nano Blast? Oh, well, I immediately get deleted. Probably get deleted. Yeah, almost instantly got deleted. I'm extremely scared. We survived somehow. I always remember that this guy was like incredibly scary to fight at a high level. Mainly because I seem to remember that after a while, this bottom part comes off and turns into blades that you can't touch. If I'm remembering this fight correctly. Yeah, unfortunately, I am remembering the fight correctly. I seem to remember that this fight now becomes awful for a melee class. He essentially has no hitbox on his bottom half. I have no idea why the explosion is green. You're not used to the Infinity stuff in PSU, yeah. It's one kind of cool thing about this server, I guess, is that they have added a lot of the Infinity outfits. And as a Ursula enjoyer in PSP2, I had to pick the outfit up. Wow, these drops are actually terrible. Why are these drops so much worse than the last runs? He played 4 players and split screen on Seabed. We kept wiping on me on Megage you couldn't see. Yeah, it's pretty much sounds like the Seabed experience. Yeah, it is really nice to see that they've ported over a lot of the Infinity stuff and PSP2 stuff. Unfortunately, I wish that they ported over some things like the dodge roll. That would have been nice. The really annoying thing as well, because I'm doing the PSP2 playthrough, I keep pressing like circle to pick up items because that's what it's set to on PSP2. And it's not that on PSU. So I keep pressing all the wrong buttons. Phone in pocket, earbuds in, mopping the floors. You've been a busy man lately. What was it? You were cutting the grass yesterday and tending to the farm. Infinity had a lot of fun stuff like being able to use shield with mechs or any one-hander. Infinity was awesome. I love that game. I can't wait until I get to Infinity on the playthrough. Unfortunately, it's going to be quite a while. Yeah, this range mag is awful. I mean, it's cool, it's clad 6, but it's way too big. It just gets in the way of the character. It does feel like the genuine Acro Fighter experience, they're still just spamming Chicky on everything. If Sega ever decides to put these older games on Switch or whatever, I'm that. For what it's worth, dude, I know that obviously when I play PSP2 on the videos, I run it through an emulator. There is a way to get it online, but it's just you have to kind of jump through a few hoops to do it. It's not the easiest game to get online. For what it's worth, I mean PSU Clementine is pretty fun to play. It's just that it is a little bit different from the official servers. And obviously Ephinea is really good for PSO as well. But I know we've talked before on that, and I know that you're more interested in things like PSP2 now. No farm yesterday. Oh, okay. You always get messed up on the controls when switching between PSO and PS0. I'm sure I'll have that to look forward to when I start playing PS0. What will come first, Switch 2 or Sega re-releasing PSO? I would probably bank on the Switch 2. I still don't know if Sega will remaster it. I'm really not sure. Thank you for your PSO beginner guide. I hadn't played the game in 20 years and I came back to it yesterday. Your video helped me out a lot. Oh, cheers, Pazu. I'm glad you come back as well. So, what did you play originally? Was it the, if it was 20 years, was it the Dreamcast version or the GameCube or Xbox? Yeah, for some reason that PSO beginner's guide, it's kind of crazy when you look at the analytics for my channel. That PSO beginner's guide is honestly probably about 30 or 40% of all the views on the channel. Which, considering it's a 1 hour video about a 20-year-old game, I just find it insane. But I am really glad it's helping people out and getting people back into PSO. played it on GameCube, but you can never beat the caves as a kid. Honestly, I think, I mean this genuinely, like, when you first play through PSO, the difference in difficulty between... This warp's bugged again. The difference in difficulty between getting through forest, beating the dragon, getting through caves, and then fighting Durol-Lay. Durol-Lay, honestly, is a huge step up in difficulty. Because at that point, really early in the game, you probably don't have a good multi-target weapon. So it can just be a bit of a horrendous fight, honestly. So I certainly wouldn't feel bad about not being able to beat Durol. Yeah, well, if you come back, I'm sure you'll be able to get past caves this time. It's worth sticking with. They're bringing back the older games, but Jet Set Radio is like a few years off. It is really cool to see them bringing back some of the old IPs again. You know, realistically, Sega have an absolute gold mine of IPs they can pick from. And the fact that a lot of them have just been sat idle doing nothing is frankly a disgrace and needs correcting. So it's good to see that they are actually starting to do that. It's a video that brought my attention to your channel as well. It was a good refresher of playing on the second monitor. Yeah, I never thought that actually. I suppose if you've got it on the second monitor and you're playing PSO at the same time, I suppose like as I'm going through things, you can kind of try it out yourself. So yeah, maybe that's why it's popular. I suppose also because I did try and sort of make it incredibly basic for people who are just starting with the game, so... Now, I am really glad though that people have actually watched that video and then started playing the game. That's exactly what I want from it, so... There is also, for anyone who might not have seen it, there is also a PSU beginner's guide on there as well. Which probably isn't quite as good because I am a bit less familiar with PSU, but it is on there as well. Not to diminish your good videos, but so many games are crap pay to win, too easy and catered, which makes older people look for the good games we used to play. Dude, if you're 37, you're younger than me. I think one of the reasons I think the PSO guide works as well is because there is just so much in PSO that the game just does not tell you at all. Can we get away with an Nano Blast again? I really like the power Nano Blast, but it does mean that if you even get hit by a gust of wind, you just get deleted. You love playing this while watching YouTube. Ah, oh, cool. Ishana Sauce. I have no idea what that is, but I'm picking it up because it has a lot of stars. Another Clad Shag. I hate that it's called Clad Shag. I've got one, that's all. Actually, no, I do need another one, actually. Companies like Capcom have a ton of IP they could use, but don't want to take the risk in losing money. Yeah, I mean, they have experimented a little bit. I mean, you know, I guess they have just announced that Marvel vs. Capcom collection, haven't they? So that's something. I mean, honestly, a Marvel collection's gonna sell like hotcakes anyway, but... And I guess, what else have they done recently? I guess they announced that Ace Attorney game as well, didn't they? The Miles Edgeworth ones. Just booted up PS0 on your 3DS. Last save was December 2009. Yeah, I am really excited to play PS0 because I've never actually played that game at all. PS0 has made phonemes cool. Yeah, we were discussing this on the Discord earlier that PS0 phonemes actually look kind of cool. Unlike the PSO phonemes. I'm sorry to everyone who plays a phoneme on PSO, but... People lost their mind at the Marvel Collection announcement. Yeah, I saw Maximilian Dude's video on it, and he just completely lost the ability to speak. Rare missions. Did someone get one? I have no idea. I didn't even look. That is how invested I am in what's actually going on in the game. PSK trying to make phonemes cool by giving them sunglasses. Oh yeah, we do have a rare mission, cool. I'm sorry, but sunglasses are not as cool as they think they are. It's always nice to do the rare missions in PSU, mainly because it's just really interesting to see what they, well, how they kind of reimagine the PSO areas, I guess. Well, I will say that as a PSO player, there are some things with this that I do sort of take issue with. I'll get onto that in a minute, what I mean. Well, one thing I'll say immediately is that I always feel, particularly with ruins, but it does strike me in a couple of the other rare areas as well. The sense of scale seems way off to me in the PSU versions. Like, ruins in PSO, when you go into it, the rooms to me feel huge. It feels like a very big open area. But I don't know, like, to me, this feels a lot more enclosed. It just, like, the scaling just doesn't feel right for some reason. Phoneme at home, aka Castra from PSO 2. Native language is Spanish, so when I had PSO back when I was young at GameCube, we didn't understand much of it, so you were practically playing it blind. So when you came across the guide, it made way more excited about playing it again on Ephinea. So you're achieving your goal with your videos. Oh, that's really cool to hear. Thanks for telling me that. It's also really cool as well to hear that, like, people whose first language isn't English are also checking the videos out as well. I realise that sometimes things like the subtitles on YouTube can be horrendous, but is that literally just for a couple of boxes? I mean, give me a gun, I'll take it. Yeah, it's always really, really good to hear. I mean, like I say, I have no idea how good or bad the subtitles are on YouTube if you decide to use any. Probably horrendous because they're probably trying to understand the northeastern English accent, which is probably one of the worst accents to try and translate. Yeah, I can imagine PSO being quite difficult to understand, because I honestly can't remember what languages PSO was sold in back in the day. I would imagine that if it wasn't in your native language, trying to understand the story when it's all written through text bubbles from Rico is probably very difficult. It seems really underwhelming that you need 4 people to get in, Oh, we did get some Delnadians, I guess. I still want to know why they changed the name of these guys. They are clearly Del Sabers. But for some reason, no, we'll change the name and call them Delnadians. Oh, you mean back then you were 16, so there's no content on the game. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I suppose trying to find PSO content back when it released was probably not that great. I suppose you were kind of dependent on message boards and things like that. Did they rename them back to Del Sabers in Infinity? Like, yeah, because I always remember that they were called Delnadians in PSU for some reason. PSO World was the place to go back then. Yeah, I spent many, many hours on PSO World. I posted far too much on there. And got into far more arguments than I would like to admit with people on there. You certainly didn't know that section IDs were so important as a kid. Yeah, again, it's just one of the many things that PSO just does not tell you. It's like, you know, should we tell the players that your section ID is fundamentally important to everything you find? Nah, let's not. You remember both Dreamcast and Xbox being English, the only versions you found? And they still have the duplication glitch. Yeah, I think everyone who played the console versions knows about the duplication glitch. Oh yeah, Portuguese Mario. I do seem to get, I mean, on my analytics, I obviously see where my viewers tend to view the videos and stuff from. I do seem to have like a decent contingent of Portuguese viewers. I think it's basically like America #1, obviously. You know, I expected that the United States would be the biggest viewership. Then I think it's the UK after that. And then I think it's Portugal after that. Or, well, I think it goes by language, so I think it's Portuguese comes up instead. PSO World is like a ghost town now. It is. It's kind of depressing, honestly. It used to be like genuinely one of the best websites for Phantasy Star. There was a ton of content on there. It was regularly updated. Yeah, I had a thriving community on there. There was a lot of arguing on there as well, but it was one of the biggest communities by far. And for now, it's desolate on there now. I think the last time it was updated on like the main homepage was like sometime in Japanese PSO 2. There's been nothing for global, nothing for NGS. It's just depressing, honestly. Oh, you live on the very south. Oh, cool. Yeah, I mean, I suppose for Portuguese, yeah, because you're going to have people from Portugal and Brazil as well, I guess. So that maybe that's why there's a decent amount of Portuguese viewers, as in Portuguese language. Congrats on hitting 1K subscribers, by the way. I remember the stream last week, you were right on the cusp of it. I was kind of hoping I would hit it on stream, but yeah, for like the last few subscribers in particular, it was incredibly slow getting the last few. But yeah, thanks for that, dude. Yeah, I'm happy to do another one. Whether it's a rare mission or another invasion run, I'm cool doing another. It's actually been a really good experience. I mean, I haven't even been keeping an eye on it, but I'm level 120, so apparently I've leveled 6 times. Your friends from all over the world, now that I think of it, you have no Canadian friends. We have a little group of committed Canadians that watch as well. Your friends living in Canada but not born there, okay. Yeah, I suppose you're right, dude. I think, honestly, I think a lot of the people who are there for Phantasy Star content now mainly use the Discord, I guess. I mean, I suppose NGS has its official Discord, doesn't it? So most people just gather on there. Message boards are kind of, it's kind of sad, but they're kind of becoming a thing of the past. Which is a shame because me, as a old man, I quite like message boards, honestly. Link for the Discord seems invalid. It might have possibly updated. Are you okay, base player, just to drop the link for the Discord? Because it could be that the bot is not doing its job. I will have the bot fired. Yeah, the problem with Discord is because you only get like a static link for your Discord if you have a boosted Discord server. You have to have it boosted to a certain level before you can actually access static links, so it changes all the time, which is really annoying. Yeah, hopefully that link will work, okay. Ah, good. I think what I might have to do is maybe just before every stream, I might have to update the Nightbot command, which again is kind of annoying to do, but... Yeah, that's a really good point, Kilniath. So much information is lost when it's not stored on things like message boards. It's the same, so I mean, it's probably the same for like any specialist interest, I guess, but for me, a few people on Discord probably know that I'm quite a big fan of like Japanese cars as well. And a lot of information is held on like owners clubs, on forums, and because the forums are now dying because people aren't going on them as much, a lot of the information is now on Facebook groups. And then when the Facebook groups fold, all the information gets lost. So it just becomes impossible to find the information you want, which is a real shame, really. If you need it, I still exist. You are doing a far better job than the bot. See, the bot has no option whether it turns up. It's also one little pet peeve about YouTube as well. It's just that getting things like bots that work properly with YouTube is just, ugh. Nightbot works fine, but there's a few of the bots I've tried that just, the messages are so delayed, or there's huge gaps in between the messages, or sometimes they just won't work at all. It just feels like everything is more difficult on YouTube Live. I like YouTube as a platform for videos, obviously. But for streaming, I do still feel like places like Twitch are probably the better options. I keep saying it, but I will probably experiment with a Twitch stream at some point. But for the foreseeable, it won't be instead of the YouTube streams. It'll be sort of just something I trial and see how it goes. Hey, the warp actually worked. Time to set up a Skylight forum. You used to have a forum for the team that I used to be on Sega Blueburst. As Bontan will attest to, because we go back quite a long way, and we played PSO BB and PSU together in the same team, so we used to have our own forum and everything. That has unfortunately long since disappeared though. YouTube has a more civilized chat unlike Twitch. Yeah, I mean, to be fair though, I mean, pretty much every single person that has spoken in my chat since I started streaming has been really chill. I think I can only think of like one comment that I've had that was a bit dodgy. But generally, the chat experience has been absolutely fine. I mean, that could change at any time, obviously. Whereas Twitch, yeah, I mean, you've seen what some Twitch chats are like, so... I think for small streams, it's probably not too bad, though. Your old Final Fantasy 14 FC used to have their own forums too. We just found it a really easy way of keeping in touch with each other, and it was just a good way of just communicating when you weren't playing the game as well. Yeah, I think for ours it just got to a point where we've moved on from the games. You know, Blueburst closed down, PSU closed down, and it just got to a point where people just weren't really turning up on the forums much anymore. So we just closed it down. Just think that actually the icon I used for my channel like avatar, that was done by a guy we used to play with on PSO, a guy called Rubius. Yeah, we used to have an old team called Azure Battalion, which has basically persisted through several games. In fact, I think if you look at my like my team on Monster Hunter World, I think that's still down as Azure Battalion as well. Used to be in a clan on PSO called TFA, the Fallen Angels, and they had a forum. Eventually, he started paying for and maintaining it. He folded when you decided to stop paying. I think that's kind of what happened with ours. It just got to a point where it just wasn't worth the upkeep anymore. I mean, if you use sites like Archive or Wayback, you can kind of see archive versions of it. But obviously, a lot of the images and stuff don't work anymore. We've got to rub Diz back into Discord somehow. Well, yeah, he's been watching a few of the videos. It would be hilarious if like all the old people I used to play with on Blueburst just randomly started watching the videos and got back into it again. I have no idea what a Serious Sunstone is. Yonohate, isn't that basically like the SGS of PS0 or something? What did you miss? So we didn't really find anything on PSO, really. We're just doing some Wicked Invasion on PSU just to get a few levels. Oh yeah, it was in PSO too, wasn't it? Yeah, Regius used it, yeah. Yeah, so the issue that I mentioned with the PSU PSO areas, apart from the scaling issue, is there's a weird thing with it where when you run some of the corridors in Ruins, the corridors look like Ruins 2, but the main rooms look like Ruins 1. And as a PSO purist, that irritates me. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think I can use Yonohate on this character. No. Oh, I'm actually full on items. I really need to sort out my storage at some point because it's an absolute mess. He says throwing way more stuff into his storage again. So honestly, I mean, I've probably got time for one more if you want to do another run. To kill Luther, then it broke, so the blacksmith cast turned it into a katana. Yeah, my memory's quite hazy at PSO2 story, but I do kind of remember that. Back in the 2000s, many had dreams of gaming website. Yeah, I mean, going back to PSO World, I do kind of miss it. It was kind of a cool atmosphere for the most part. It's a little bit hostile now and again, but I think you got that on any forum, really. It was just a cool place because it had everything all gathered together. You know, you had item databases, you had section ID calculators, you know, guides on how to hunt different items. It was a huge variety of information on there. Thankfully, a lot of it's still available. But yeah, the forums and everything are just dead now, really. I think I mentioned this before, but if you look on PSO World, there is actually a guide that I wrote on there like several years ago. Did you guys ever end up beating Alatreon? So we didn't do it on stream. I mean, I've done it off stream before. We haven't really fought it since. Yeah, we haven't really done any Monster Hunter today, so I wanted a little bit of a break from it, just to mainly to bring back PSU a bit as well, because I appreciate I haven't played it for a little while. I would say that I probably need to play NGS on stream at some point, but I am also aware that if I do that, people will just leave. Back on the Sega servers, I had a group of 3 other guys that you play with all the time. We even beat Episode 1 Challenge Mode. We can't remember the names. Missed them. There's tons of people I probably can't remember the names of, but there is a lot of people I do remember playing with as well. It'd be kind of like cool to know how some of them are doing now, because it was so long ago since I played with them. The animations are so rigid even on PSU. Depends on the weapon, and again, we have to bear in mind this is a very old game. I think if you're expecting modern animations on PSU, then I don't know what to say. And we lost contact with people you play with on PSU. We saw a couple on PSO2, but never really talked to them. I think it's just the case, isn't it? There'll be some people that you manage to stay in contact with no problem. Some people will just kind of flit in and out, and you'll see them now and again, and then some people you just lose contact with. I think it's just how it is, unfortunately. You know, it's life, isn't it? People, you know, people have different things going on, I guess. Also, you bear in mind it was like 20 years ago, so. Old folk, rip. I still kind of find it crazy, honestly, that when I started playing PSO, I think I was about 18. I have no idea why that would give you a warning there. It said stop posting links, but I didn't see you post a link, so unless it was, I wonder if you used like a full stop or something and then used something after it, so maybe it mistook it as a link. I'm sorry. Blame Nightbot. I think we may be retiring Nightbot after this stream, to be honest. I'm assuming that when you typed, maybe you put like a full stop or something, and it's just misread it as a link for some reason. Because I've got link protection on, because obviously you don't want people spamming just random crap in the you know, in the chat, but I also don't want it just timing people out for no reason. So sorry about that, dude. Get the water bottle out and spray the bot. Yeah, remote. I think it is time to take Nightbot behind the barn. You can still see the message. You actually want to look at this, actually. So why did it time you out? Apologies, the music will stop for a little bit. I think what it is. Yeah, so I think you said true, and then us old folk. I think what it's done is you've got the word true, then dot, then US, and I think it's mistook it as a link. Yeah, I'll have a look in the Nightbot settings after the stream and see if there's a way of getting around that, but I think if you have link protection on, it's probably hard to get around that. To be fair, dude, as well, even if it did ban you, I can override it anywhere. That tech light nearly instant killed me. Yeah, see, basically I can get away with it. That's the mod privilege, I think. I am quite glad that you are still a mod, because I have no idea why YouTube decided to merge your channels and just remove you from being a moderator. Yeah, that comment about the animations in PSU I think is a bit of an odd one, because PSU is kind of, it's very, very far ahead of PSO in terms of animations, because, you know, PSO literally didn't have any PAs. And honestly, for a game this old, I think the animations are fine. There are a few that are very like comical, like there is a few PAs that just look stupid because they're designed to look stupid. It reinstated your like videos and subscriptions in the end. I wonder if it's just like a weird bug with YouTube then, because it does seem really odd that it just essentially deleted all of your subscriptions and everything. Right, I'm going for the Nano Blaster. Let's see if I can get away with it again. We did it. Yeah, that was the exact photon blast I was thinking of. The claw one where you kind of swim through the air. I can't remember the name of it now, but yeah, the one where you kind of jump in the air and then swim in midair. And then you dive down and get stuck in the ground. Yeah, honestly, I think when you go back and play PSU now, you can see like how relatively advanced it was in comparison to PSO. It did introduce a lot of new things, really, and it did kind of push the envelope quite a lot. It's just that in some areas it may have pushed it too far and people didn't appreciate it. I feel like it holds up reasonably well now. I think the unfortunate thing about PSU is that if you put it side by side with PSP2, it does fall down. Just because PSP2 essentially feels like the greatest hits of PSU. Oh, cool. We actually got an extra unit that actually gives us a visual effect. We won't be able to see it here, but... Portable games brought a ton of quality of life changes for sure. Definitely. I mean, playing through PSP2 again, you can tell how much of a vast improvement it is over PSU. It's just a shame that it's stuck on the PSP. I mean, visually, honestly, PSU probably looks better just because it was on PC. PSP2 does look quite rough. Again, there are patches, there is like high-res patches and things for it that work reasonably well. But it will always look worse just because it is a PSP game. But fundamentally, as an actual quality of life improvements, I think there's a massive difference between PSU and PSP2. So yeah, I think we'll probably end the stream there for today. So what we'll do is next week there will be a PSP2 video on Monday night for members, and then that will go to non-members on Wednesday. There'll also be a PSO Law video next weekend, and we may also try and sneak an NGS video in as well, because I really genuinely do need to do one. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the stream. If you have, please consider liking, subscribing, joining as a member, all the usual YouTube rubbish. Yeah, but hopefully see you in the next one. Thanks to everyone who's joined for PSO and PSU. And again, big thanks to everyone for 1,000 subscribers as well. Really does mean a ton to me to actually get this far, relatively, for a PSO channel. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you guys.